When you first look at a person, what is the first thing you notice?
It could be their clothes, their skin color, their height, or more so, their hair.
Hair. A feature that is quite distinct. It comes in many colors, textures, and styles. Some come with curls, and there are others with flat strands. But for the majority of the Black community, we have coils upon coils creating a beautiful masterpiece. On the other hand, something so small such as the texture of people's hair has had negative yet also positive impacts on American history, mainly the Black history as a whole.
This single difference does and has separated each race from another, creating the seemingly perfect beauty standard for American beauty. Those standards were having straight hair along with white skin, being blue-eyed and thin. For many years, African Americans have been confined to the standards of white European beauty.
However, since the 1960s, the natural hair movement has brought many proud Black African Americans together, reclaiming the title Black is Beautiful. Because why should a certain group of people be discriminated against when the change wanted is completely absurd and impossible?
In early African societies, before colonization, the bountiful coils of black hair were seen as a symbol of a person's identity rather than despite. During this time, there were hairstyles for everyone and for every occasion. Whether you were born into royalty, a soldier fighting for their country, or a mother about to give birth, there was even a hairstyle for women waiting for men to come back from war. Even throughout the different tribes in Africa, hairstyles were a common way that was used to indicate which tribe was which, distinguishing one tribe from another. Braids, cornrows, afros, as well as other tribal hairstyles were seen as normal. Doing these different styles was a way for both women and men to socialize among others in a welcoming environment. However, since colonization, a shift in this wholesome community was made. A separation, if not, a drift was created, making a drastic change.
Black hair was not seen as the beauty it once was, but an unattractive mess that was a hassle to manage. For many years, Black people have had to constantly hear these overbearing words while trying to fit into the racist American beauty standards. However, in the mid-1960s, the natural hair movement shook the Black community as a whole, creating empowerment among many. It was known as the Black is Beautiful movement. With this, many Black Americans have found their own sense of pride and power through their skin tones, hair, and facial features. A popular hairstyle that came out of it was the afro. Along with it, the statement, "I'm Black and I'm proud." The newfound embrace and appreciation for Black culture among the Black community sprung to a rise.
Many Black Americans have influenced the natural hair movement. One of them was Madam C.J. Walker. She was a Black business owner struggling with multiple problems. One of them was her own hair. She developed alopecia and tried many hair products. However, they all failed. As a result, she made her own empire with self-made hair products, directly selling them to Black women. By building and expanding, she became the first Black female millionaire, donating her fortune to charities. Other people who had an influence were Angela Davis, Elaine Brown, and Bobby Seale, along with other supporters of the Black Panther Party. These activists who wanted to bring change also began to wear their hair in its natural state, as afros or in other natural hairstyles, as a political statement. Because of these people, and many more, Black Americans were able to embrace their natural beauty to the fullest.
Many people have influenced and brought great awareness to the issue Black Americans were facing. However, prejudice against Black people was not only a problem happening in America, but it would also happen in other places as well. Because of this, people of color had to create their own ways to succeed in a world that pushed them down. For example, in Canada, in the 40s, a Canadian civil rights activist, Viola Desmond, began the first hair salon for Black women in Nova Scotia. She was rejected by many other local beautician schools because of discrimination due to the color of her skin. She felt that black women should not be discriminated against because of their skin tone, but also that their needs were not the same as white women.
With all this in mind, many things and many people have been an influence, both big and small, positive and negative, on Black American society. Because of the major discrimination against African Americans, many were stripped of their identities, becoming something they were not. However, due to Black Americans who sought change, the natural hair movement was made. Because of this movement and because of its change, many Black Americans had something positive to look up to, not just in America, but in other places as well.
This is what gave Black Americans back their identity. This is what gave Black Americans their pride. And this is what gave Black Americans back their freedom.